All right, let's get right into it. You've probably walked or driven past a building with a foreign flag out front and a sign that says consulate. Seems pretty simple, right? Well, behind that sign is this whole surprisingly complex world. Because you know what? Not all consulates are created equal. They actually exist in a really clear hierarchy. And once you understand it, you start to see the whole strategy of modern diplomacy in a new light. So, this really gets to the heart of the matter. We tend to throw these terms around interchangeably, but in the world of diplomacy, the difference is huge. It's kind of like the difference between your local corner store and the company's main regional headquarters. They're just not playing in the same league. So, what's the real difference here? And more importantly, why should you even care? Let's break it all down. We're going to start at the very top of the consular food chain, the Consulates General. Think of these as the heavyweight champions, the big bosses of a country's diplomatic presence when they're not in the capital city. Okay, the keywords to lock onto here are highest ranking and major region. A consulate general isn't just another office building. No way. It's the main command center for an entire chunk of a country, often covering multiple states or provinces. You'll find them in cities that are absolutely critical for things like trade, finance, or just strategic importance. We're talking places like New York, Shanghai, or Dubai. This right here really lays out the power structure. A consulate general is the regional HQ, period. It's led by a top-ranking official, the consul general, and it offers the full buffet of services, everything from super complex trade deals down to everyday visa processing. But what's really crucial is that it acts as the mothership, overseeing any other smaller consulates that exist within its huge territory. So let's step down one rung on the ladder. If the Consulate General is the big regional headquarters, then your standard consulates and the smaller vice consulates, well, they're the essential branch offices, the ones doing all the day-to-day work out there on the ground. Now, this is the real workhorse of the whole system. A standard consulate serves a specific city or a much smaller, really well-defined region. So while a consulate general might be responsible for the entire U.S. West Coast, a regular consulate might just handle Southern California. They're focused, they're functional, and for most people, this is going to be their main point of contact. Yep, consulates are the places you'd go if you, say, lost your passport or needed to apply for a visa. They're smaller, they have fewer staff, and their focus is much more local. And then you have vice consulates, which are a little step below even that. You can think of them as a tiny satellite office, often with a super specific or even temporary job, like setting up shop to support a massive event like the Olympics. And here we can see the whole structure, side by side. It makes it really clear. On one side, you've got the Consulate General. It's the top-tier command center, focused on regional oversight. And on the other, you have the consulate. That's your local branch office, totally focused on delivering those core day-to-day services. One is all about grand strategy, the other is about frontline delivery. Okay, now we get to the most interesting and unique part of this whole system, the honorary consul. This role kind of breaks all the traditional rules of diplomacy, and it just goes to show you how flexible and creative this structure can be. Now, just let that sink in for a second. An honorary consul is usually not a citizen of the country they're representing. I know, right? They are almost always a prominent local business person or just a well-respected resident of the host country who happens to have strong ties to that foreign nation. These are not career diplomats. They're essentially volunteers, or maybe they get a small stipend to be a point of contact. So why on earth would a country do this? Well, think of an honorary consul like a commissioned local agent or maybe a freelancer. A country might want a little bit of a presence in a smaller city that has some business ties, but it just can't justify the huge cost of a full-blown consulate. So what do? They appoint an honorary consul to handle basic citizen emergencies, promote some business, and just be their person on the ground, all by using that person's local smarts at a tiny fraction of the cost. It's pretty genius. So we've seen the what, all the different levels of this hierarchy. But the most important question is why, right? Why does this whole multi-layered system even exist in the first place? Well, the answer really boils down to two things: strategy and efficiency. This chart right here, it explains everything. Running a massive consulate general in a major global city is incredibly expensive. We're talking high cost, but in return, you get a powerful, high-level presence. An honorary consul is the complete opposite, super low cost, providing a very specific niche presence. And of course, the standard consulates sit right there in the middle. It's that classic trade-off between how much money you want to spend and how much influence you actually need in a certain place. And that's the crucial takeaway. This consular hierarchy is really a toolkit. It gives a country a totally scalable way to build its diplomatic footprint. It can go big with a consulate general in a city that's vital to its interests, set up a few standard consulates in other important areas, and then just sprinkle these low-cost honorary consuls wherever else it wants to have some kind of connection. Okay, so let's put it all together one last time just to see the full picture of this scalable footprint. This isn't some random collection of offices. It's a deliberately designed network that's all about balancing a country's resources with its foreign policy goals. And here it is, your final cheat sheet. The Consulate General is the big regional HQ. The consulate is your standard branch office. And the honorary consul? That's the local freelancer you hire for a specific targeted job. Each one has a perfectly clear role, a clear purpose, and a clear place in the grand diplomatic strategy of a country. So, the next time you see a consulate, you'll know exactly what you're looking at and where it fits in the grand scheme of things. But this all leads to one final, really important question. In our age of digital services and instant communication, is this very physical, tiered network still the best way to do diplomacy? That's definitely something to think about.